queens in this bitch. Oh, sorry. What up, Twitch? A bunch of sensitive thugs. Oh my god, everybody's sensitive. Oh my god, you can't say that, can't say this. Whew! Sensitive time we live in, chill. What up, Twitch family? IG fam, waiting for the folks to come on. Hey, Nick! You are the first contestant. Hey, boo. How are you, beautiful? What up, Super Pat? We got another good one today. Super Bad 28. I'm just waiting for the rest of these folks to hop on. I'm going to give them another 30 seconds, and then we'll get into today's topic because it's a good one. I don't know if you saw this story about this YT woman that raised all this money after she called. Yeah, we'll get into it. Nick said, I'm great, and yourself? I cannot complain. Baby, I work with a bunch of sensitive. Whew. Anyway, that's another story for another day, yeah. Okay then, Nick. Look at you, boo. Verified. Okay. Period. Hey, Super Pat. All right, let's get into it. And these folks, they could catch up. All right, so I'm not going to give this woman's name. I won't put her out there like that, even though she deserves to be put out there like that. But a Minnesota woman is at the center of controversy after being caught on video admitting to using a racial slur against a 5-year-old child. Despite the backlash, she has raised more than $670K on GiveSendGeo, a crowdfunding site popular with conservatives. But take a listen to this video, and yeah, let's get into this. What are your thoughts? I mean, I know racism is still alive and well, but folks like to play like it's not. Here we go.
Did you call him a child? Did you call the child the word? It is my own business. You call him a. Okay, why don't you have the boss to say it right now again? Okay. All right, that's what you say.
Hey, Jamar. I think that's how you said that. Hey, Tara. All right, so hold on, I'm gonna fast forward this.
There was a video, and she was gonna deny it and walk away.
So hold on, y'all. I'm gonna tell you what we're talking about.
And, she saw that I was recording. She doubled down, and it will triple down now.
I was trying to get into hold on, this might be exactly what I'm
Lineage of evil.
Okay, never mind. I don't want to hear anybody else's take. So we're talking about today. Hold on.
I'm sure by now many of you have seen this.
Oh my God, this is all over. This is all over social media. So we're talking about a woman who has raised $670K after calling a 5-year-old black child the N-word. Y'all quiet today. Y'all know what this is. This is we talk back. I do not do all the talking. We give our opinions over here. Chat. So how are we feeling about this? I mean, I know racism is still alive and well, but damn, $670K? Jesus! Boy, I'm working on learning how to control my mouth. Roughnecks, what's going on? How are we feeling about this? Minnesota woman is at the center of controversy after being caught on video admitting to using a racist slur against a 5-year-old black child. Hey, Smokey, y'all quiet. And she openly admitted to it. Like, okay, I said it in. What you gonna do? I mean, it just proves where we at with it still. The fact that she could raise $670K and she called a child. I don't care what color he is. She called a child the N-word. You know, where's, hey mama, where is the GoFundMe for this child? Because I would be like, oh, my child is traumatized after she called him the N-word. Baby, I'm making up all types of excuses because what in the hell? 670K. Again, like I said, it just proves that racism is still alive and well. Tara said, raise money for what? Well, I think, okay, so she's saying she's trying to get 1 million, citing great turmoil in her life. The donations highlight, okay, I don't need none of that. Rochester captured video for the show, blah, 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 blah. When asked if she thought the slur was justified, she replied, if that's what he's going to act like. Oh, wow. Coverage nationwide. I'm trying to figure out, Tara, too, why the heck she needs this $1 million. But I think from what I did read, she's trying to get this money so she can relocate. And you fools are giving it to her. I got one better for you. If you gonna donate to this, I got one better for you. Why don't you just don't donate to Didi? At least the money will go to good use. Super Pat said, raise money for what? Did she lose her job? No, I think she's trying to locate now because of the backlash. Raise money. Yeah, this is crazy. She's trying to raise $1 million. It's crazy. I'm gonna play the video again. Let me do this break though, real quick. I'm trying to get more details of this situation without going on somebody else's page, but I'm gonna play the video again for you guys. Hold on one second. I swear to God. Yes, ma'am. Yes, I'm gonna zoom. Okay. All right, I'm back, y'all. I apologize. I don't even know if that's gonna work now. I might have to come back to y'all. Hold on one second. IG. I do this right. The best Army 98.7 Kiss coming up in 7 minutes. If you have a small business, you're a teacher or an educator, or you're a nurse, we are celebrating you all week. Make sure you hit me up right now on my IG at IamDee Parker. That's IAMDEE Parker. It's 98.7 Kiss. What up, Pat? Let me turn this down because Neek said, and I hope you guys can see me. Neek said they come up with money for ignorance, but complain about feeding the hungry. Ain't that a shame, Nick? Super Pat said, sounds like it's going to be a stunt, but Mega will support this foolishness. Look who's in the White House. I mean, you ain't never lie about that. You ain't never lie about that. They will 100% support this foolishness. I'm just trying to, and it makes sense. You would never guess what she looks like. You might know. I'm sorry, I had to zip up my thing. Pat said, what's good, friend? All right, for my new folks on here, we're talking about a Minnesota woman raising over $670K after calling a black child, a 5-year-old black child, a racist slur. Take a listen.
Did you call him a child? Did you call the child the word? It is my business. You call him a. Okay, why don't you have the boss to say it right now again? Okay. All right, that's what you say.
So, according to this, they're saying she's raising the money. She's seeking $1 million, citing great turmoil in her life. What that great turmoil is, I have no idea. But the fact that folks are out here donating $670K, just to prove a point, I guess. But you know what they probably gonna say? What was that that baby that just killed that little twin boy, little track star boy? They gonna say, well, because you know they was big mad that he got off. Hey, babe. Thank you, babe. You know they was big mad about him getting out of jail. His family was getting all types of death threats. What was his name? I can't think of his name right now. Hey, A1. So you know how they gonna try to flip this. Chair. Super Pat said it would be nice if they published the donors' names. It would be. Yes, wasn't it? It was Carmelo. Was it Carmelo Anthony as well? I think his name was Carmelo because I was like, oh, he's named after the basketball player. So you know how they like to try to flip things. They might try to flip this and be like, well, I mean, you know, y'all got y'all one, we got our one, even though she didn't. But you understand what I'm trying to say. So what happened was, in the footage, I wish I could show you guys this video footage. It shows the woman claiming that the 5-year-old took her son's stuff and using the N-word when confronting him. When asked if she thought the slur was justified, she said, if that's what he's going to act like, baby, where are these people's parents at? Because, baby, I'm going to tell you this. Couldn't have been me. Ain't no way I'm standing there letting somebody, Carmelo Anthony. Ain't no way I'm sitting there and allowing somebody to call my child the N-word. Baby, that she would have had to get dragged. She would have had to get dragged. Because like I said, ain't no way I'm allowing some grown woman to be in my child's face and calling him the N-word. So, they're saying that this woman has not been painted as the victim. So I don't know. If you know the story, what do you guys think about this? Hey, Baby Rock. Neek said she would have gotten hands and feet put on. Absolutely. Because again, no way I'm about to sit there and let you say anything out of pocket about my child. Ain't no way. Mama said I would sue her ass for defamation. I don't think you would have to try to prove defamation. But she's not suing, or she's not suing the people. I guess she called the little boy the N-word. The parents, I don't know. This is a tricky situation. Hey, F.A. Neek said, I heard he was autistic. I'm reading that. I'm seeing that the little boy was autistic. It's the audacity, though, to think like you could sit there and call somebody's child the N-word and then think nothing is supposed to happen to you. But that's, I guess, why she needs this $1 million so she could relocate, child. Yeah, it's probably best you relocate, sis. Yeah, it's probably best. So if I have any new folks on IG, what up, FA? We're talking about a Minnesota woman who has now raised $670K for calling a little black child, a 5-year-old black child, the N-word. It just goes to prove that racism is alive. Hey, Joey Cakes and well, but I want to know you guys' thoughts. If you've seen the video, if you heard about this story, what is your thoughts? And then I'll play this video back for you one more time. I mean, it's really nothing to the video because you can't hear her in the video saying anything about, the little boy.
The child? Did you call the child the word? It is my own business. You call him a. Okay, why don't you have the boss to say it right now again? Okay. All right, that's what you say.
All right, so that's pretty much. Hold on, I'm trying to stop this. That's pretty much the basis of mental anguish. That's pretty much the basis of that video. What up, Rashad? I'm talking about this Minnesota woman who has now raised $670K from calling a black child, a 5-year-old, the N-word. So I'm asking them what their thoughts are. Hefe said, but Kamala said we don't live in a racist country. I never heard Kamala say that.
She never said that.
Neek said, I don't care if it was my child or not. I'm putting hands and feet on her if I were there. I don't remember Kamala ever saying that, F.A. I'm sorry.
You said it, send me the clip. I done seen a whole lot of Kamala videos. I don't remember her saying that we don't live in a racist area. I know she was talking about reparations, and she was saying that she wouldn't just exclusively give it to black people. She would create systems that we would be able to benefit from, as well as other people, because she was running for president. So you just can't say, yes, I'm giving black people money. You'll never get elected.
Right. Okay. So have you seen that video? Have you heard the story of this woman?
I have.
And what are your thoughts? Hold on before you share your thoughts. Hold on because I got 33 seconds and I don't know if you can get it out in 33 seconds. So I don't want to interrupt you. I want you to be clear cut and to the point. So what I will do is reintroduce this topic. If I have any new folks, this is what we're talking about today. We're talking about that Minnesota woman that called a 5-year-old a racist slur and has now raised over $670K. A lot of money right there. Hold on one second, y'all. And I'm showing love to my small businesses, my educators, and my nurses. And I have a nurse on the line. Hello, how are you?
Hello, I am terrific.
What's your name and where are you calling from?
I am Trudy Felton, RN case manager at the VA.
Wonderful. Can I say happy National Nurses Day to you and all the fabulous nurses?
Yes, most definitely.
Thank
All my colleagues, I'd like to say happy Nurses Week and thank you for all you do.
And I just want to tell you, thank you for all you do, your service and your sacrifice.
Thank you.
You are so welcome, sis. 98.7 Kids, hello.
Hey, how you doing? This is Ray with Ray's Ultimate Lawn Care, Landscaping, and Pressure Washing Service. You can reach me at 205-834-6991. Again, Ray's Ultimate Lawn Care, Landscaping, and Pressure Washing Service.
Thank you so much, Ray, and thank you for all that you do with your small business.
Thank you.
Have a good day. More on the way. It's 98.7 Kids.
Are you ready to celebrate the incredible?
All right, I'm back. Sorry, y'all. All right, Rashad, let's hear it.
So, there is no reason to be surprised. These are the same people that raise money for the dude that killed Trayvon Martin. These are the same people that raise money for the white boy that killed the people at the Black Lives Matter rally.
Mm-hmm.
And so my question is, when do black people start donating to causes? I mean, we'll sit here and we mad and all this other stuff, but who donated to the little boy in Frisco, Texas, that is that was arrested for killing the white boy at it was the track meet.
You talk about Carmelo Anthony.
Carmelo Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
Who's donated money to their account?
Oh no,
Because
they've had a bunch of people donate. They had
well, yeah, they have. But think about this: there was much more donated to the other side, and the chick that just was talking bad to the little black boy, she raised more money than Carmelo did. So my point is, when do we stop bitching and complaining? And when do we get in the fight? When do we get in the fight? We fucking selfish. We selfish. I'll say it. We are. We don't donate to nothing. We let everybody else do the work. And that's the majority of us. And it's like the people that do, they have to give more because it's not
enough.
It's not a large enough. It's not a large enough amount of people giving. And so yeah, they raised it. They did. But she raised more. Think about it. She raised more by herself. So Baby Rock was talking about the NAACP raised money for the little black kid. And yes, they did. But the thing about it is, that's a whole organization. And they still raised less than the one white woman. One. She went and put her own stuff up. And then everybody jumped in. We had a whole organization behind the little boy. And he got $250,000 less than she got.
Jesus, man.
And he was a victim. He had autism. I don't know if that's been confirmed, but there are talks that he had autism. He was 5 years old.
Yes, he did. He did.
He was completely innocent. But yet, we'll just look at it, and we won't do anything. We don't do nothing. All we do is talk.
So there is a site to donate for the 5-year-old.
Yep.
Okay, I gotta find that. Baby Barack said that was messed up. I was proud to hear that dude come to their defense. They quick to tell someone to go back to their country. Neek said, "Why does Kamala have to do with this? She never said that. How about we worry about the racists in the White House?" Joey Cake said she's going to get a lot of people beat up. Baby Rock said, "Facts, Neek. The White House is now full of hate and racism. So sad. This is where we are." Neek said, "Team Nurse, double masters." Oh, happy National Nurses Day, Neek, to you. Wonderful. And thank you for your service. Baby Rock said okay, you read that already. Raise money. And Neek said the NAACP donated to the family of the 5-year-old. The family asked them to stop the donations, but they got about $400K. I wonder why the family asked them to stop the donations. Neek, do you know that?
Because we get scrutinized. right? So think about this: the kid that got in Frisco, Carmelo, his family. He said, okay, so his family got that money, right? They got about $450,000, and then all of the white people started creating lies, saying that they bought a new house, but they bought a new car with that.
Yeah.
And so that's why this family was like, man, we don't need that smoke. So we can't even allow our community to do anything for us because the other side, man, they don't play fair.
Yeah, because what
They
the hell
don't
does
play
she need
fair.
him? What do you need $1 million for? Where the hell are you going? And Mama said, why are they even allowing her to raise money for this nonsense and saying stuff like Kamala said something is the reason why this country is in trouble now. Hefe said, sorry, I left to find the video. I'm going to DM both of y'all the video. Yes.
You know what? Perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Okay. If she did say it wasn't, who the fuck cares? That's not what we're talking about at all. That's a whole other topic. And it's like that's another thing, man. It's like we can't address anything serious without bringing something completely unrelated into the topic. We're not talking about, wait a minute. It was only brought up because she represents the Democratic Party. We weren't talking about parties. We were talking about black people. We were talking about black people. What Democratic Party got to do with it, man? So I mean, I hear your point, and you know, shit. If I was wrong because I hadn't seen it, then that's fine. You know me, I'll be the first to admit that I'm wrong. And
I haven't seen that video either, though, of her saying
Yeah.
that racism is because again, what all the stuff that So yes, please send it to me.
I mean, but that's beside the point. That's not an argument to bring up as we discuss this topic.
You're
That's
right.
what I don't understand. What was the relevance of it?
I guess to say, well, Kamala says that racism is dead. She ain't the only one. There's some black men that have said racism is dead. Hefe, I got you. Nick said exactly. We always deflect from the issue at hand. If I have any new folks, we are talking about the Minnesota woman that has raised $670,000 after calling a 5-year-old black child the N-word. Mama said, so what is the problem he has with Kamala? Here we go. All right, Hefe, welcome to the chat.
So let me start by saying I was definitely taking a shot. It doesn't have anything specific to do with the situation, right? But what it does have to do with is the belief that I believe black people have in the Democratic Party. How they believe that they usually have our best interests. So I was saying that we obviously live in a racist country, and I kind of chose that opportunity to throw a shot at the Democratic Party. Even the Democratic Party says that we don't live in a racist country, but obviously when you got a woman raising $600,000 on the internet by calling a little kid the N-word, that and I believe shows that racism is still living. But she got supporters that giving her money that doesn't find an issue with what she did. So I just tied it together.
Rashad?
Can't see connection.
No, I can hear you, Hefe. You came in a little distorted, but I can hear you. Rashad?
I mean, I hear your point. He was just trolling. I get it. That's why I won't just.
I wasn't just trolling. To be honest, I just want to create more constructive criticism to a party that I think that has a chokehold. That's it. It's not that I want people not to become Democrats or anything, but I want them to know that racism exists not with just Republicans. And because I would argue that our people believe most people that probably contributed to that young lady 600,000 were probably Republicans. That's what I would believe the average black person would have thought.
Mega, definitely.
Yeah, and I would argue that a large amount of those people were probably Democrats as well, because most Democrats, well, at least the representatives of us, would get on national TV and say we don't live in a racist country. So I think that would be reasonable for me to believe that they would support that.
So when you say most Democrats, most of our leaders would get on TV and say that, I don't know if that's accurate. We got a lot of Democratic leaders, and that's not what a lot of our leaders are saying on television and in public. You definitely hear that much more. Yeah, you definitely hear that much more from the Republican Party. So my point is, what is taking the shot at the Democratic Party right now doing when it is not the Democratic Party that's tearing the country up?
Hold on.
That's
Hold that.
what I just don't.
Hold that thought. Hold that thought. Hold that thought. Hold on one second.
Okay.
The best R&B 98.7 Kiss. Big happy birthday shout out to Angel Reese, WNBA star Angel Reese, who turns 30 years young today. Man, I remember when I turned 30. Good times. Enjoy, girl. It's 98.7 Kiss, the best R&B. Of course I do. I had a ball. 20s, 30s? Oh my goodness. Okay, but that's not why we're here. Go ahead. Neek said again, we are not even talking about that though. And Mama said, why don't you talk about this fool in office? Kamala is not the president. Go ahead, Rashad.
Kamala, really, well, I don't really care. I'm just talking about the Democratic Party. And again, there was not in line with what the topic was. But I wanted to bring up
But here's
something to challenge them. I mean, constructive criticism.
Sure, great. Constructive
That's
criticism.
it. And it wasn't, and because you say something about the Democrats, and we can move on from this topic if y'all want to.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean it's the support of the Republicans, y'all. So it ain't, let's talk about Trump. Trump is messing up the country. I would agree with that. I think most people would agree with that. But I just think it's not healthy, or I think it's dangerous that if you this idea when you criticize Democrats that we like, all right, well, what about them? It's like, well, yeah, they're bad too. Like, you know what I mean?
But
That's all.
so at the end of the day, that the whole point of, and that's what I'm trying to figure out. What you're trying to bring up the point that, hey, Democrats are dangerous, but at the present moment, we have a real threat. We got a real threat. All of the stuff that the Democrats have been doing, and I've never ever been a proponent for saying that the Democrats are blameless. Never. But I understand that we are fighting a battle right now. And every time that we take the focus off of the implementers of the challenges that we're facing right now, that is a step back that we're going, because we always pull back instead of going forward and getting the momentum and getting everybody in the same. Right now, regardless of how flawed the Democrats are, the enemy at hand is the Republican Party. The Republican Party is basically overlooking everything constitutional. That is all that needs to be said. I don't give a fuck about anybody. Hey, she said ain't no racism. Yes, she did. Some of them benefit from the tax cuts as well. Yes, that's true. All of that shit is true. But right now, they are trying to put your black ass in shackles again. That's all that we need to be focused on. That is all that we need to be focused on. This dude went on television and said, "Hey, martial law needs to be implemented in the highest crime rate areas, and that's normally where the black people are." Do you understand what that means? Literally, all that other stuff that we talking about, but Democrats are bad too. No, we are fighting for our lives right now. I don't want to hear shit else about Democrats. I don't want to hear nothing about that, because there was nothing that the Democrats have done that would have changed your status or your quality of life.
He's right.
It would make things inconvenient. Yes, I get that. Yes, there's some hypocrisy in that. I completely understand. Well, what?
You say like they don't do anything that will change my quality of life. I'll say this: I don't disagree with you, right? So I don't want to make it more drawn out. I mean, as if I'm the opposition of what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying for the most part. There's some small nuances that I may not agree with, but that's kind of irrelevant. I get the bigger point.
Fair enough. right? So you don't necessarily have to agree with all of it. The point that I'm making is that we all need to be on the same page in trying to figure out how to get these people that have been elected, that are refusing to uphold the Constitution. When you have a man in charge that says, I don't know anything about the Constitution. I don't know anything about the Declaration of Independence. I don't know anything about all of these tenets that we have built our entire society on. These are the things that we need to be focused on. And when we continue to go back and be like, yep, see, you remember back a year and a half ago when she said, that is not what we should be focused on right now. That was my only point. I'm not saying you're not right. I'm not saying as though it's not valid, but at the end of the day, that is not the issue at hand. We need to address what is happening today. Today. The Democrats are not the issue.
I agree with that. I think it's more pressing. I agree that there are more pressing issues that we should address today. That I agree with. I just know that the president election will be coming back around sooner than we know it, and I just like for everybody to have more information on who they may be voting for. And these just little instances where you can probably bring it up. Again, like I said, I see why you said maybe I was trolling. I don't really know what that means. No, I don't. I don't really know what it actually means. I didn't know trolling could mean like, am I throwing shots, or is it like trolling means it's not true?
So trolling means that not but when you have this whole internet thing, people that are just creating chaos for the sake of creating chaos, right? With no intent, no matter what the topic is about. Right. Well,
Maybe I agree with my intent, but I hadn't.
So at the end of the day, you updated me on why you were saying it, right? So I said that at the very beginning, right? So you have your valid points, and that's fine. So I take the trolling, comment back. But at the end of the day, the message that I'm portraying is that if we don't focus on the true enemy, and we actually have an enemy now. We have an enemy. He is everything that they think about this. Everything that he and all of his supporters do is attacking us. Everything. They are attacking American citizens. I just saw that they're about to fire some more people at I can't even remember what the entity was. But I'm just at the FDA. They're firing people from the FDA. These are the people that keep us from dying because of what these companies would do to our food. We have a literal traitor in the White House. He just had a look, brother. Here's the
only reason I say that is because I do know that one of the largest massive drop-offs, what do they call it, firings under the government was under like Bill Clinton. And then I also know that what I just read recently was that the FDA just banned a lot of the harmful substances that they've been allowing companies to put in our food,
the red dyes.
So all that different type of stuff.
Yeah, babe, the president along with other things.
For decades now, that they've been allowing us to eat. So again, I'm not educated enough to know to have a full opinion, but I did read that they have got rid of a lot of some things that have been harmful to us.
No. That's the point of how important the FDA is. And so when you lay people off at the FDA, then people are not able to conduct these investigations and things like that to prevent. And let's be honest, the FDA allowed that. They allowed it.
That's what I was saying. I was saying. They've been allowing that for years, and I thought that. And again, maybe this is optimistic of me. Please don't. I don't know. I'm saying I don't know. But in my mind, I'm like, well, maybe they filing some of those because what they call trimming some of the fat, maybe some of the unnecessary areas, and because I know the FDA has been complicit allowing these companies to feed us garbage, you know what I mean, and pass some of these harmful ingredients. And now that I just read recently that they have now banned these things, I thought that was maybe a positive thing. That's all.
So at the end of the day, you got to remember that is a corporate strategy of trimming the fat. That has never been proven to actually work. That is just what happens when you have quarterly financials that you are trying to get your shareholders the maximum profit
Profits.
that you can get out of every single quarter. So trimming the fat is a way that everybody they cook the books, right? And so,
Government included, right?
yeah, right.
Okay.
Government included.
Because I
Right.
want to recap what we've been talking about because I got some new folks, and then I want to read some of these comments because I got folks making comments. Neek said they are warning us not to even fly right now because of the people shortage. Joey Cake said Trump represents the mindset that many elected officials already feel. They're pretty much exempt from anything that he implements. Regular voters were 10 toes down until his policies affects them. Trump is not thinking that far. It is all about money. That was Neek. And Mama said, who can be worse that who is in office now? You better ask them Spanish people who thought they were safe and trusted him. He's coming for them now. And she said, stop diverting that. It's our problem. Bill Clinton is not the problem now. That's what she said. And for the new folks, we've been talking a little bit about everything. We're talking about the woman in Minnesota that has now raised $670K for calling a 5-year-old boy the N-word. And two, the Black family did have a GoFundMe, but I guess they shut that down. They closed it as well. They raised $340K for the Black child. But I'm going to tell you, give me a second. I'll tell you why she's raising this money, what she said. So hold on. Bear with me, y'all. I apologize. Oh boy, this thing is heating up with the water board bill. Couldn't get that out. As Birmingham sues the governor. Child, this thing is a mess. It's 98.7 Kiss. What up, Chef? We got our own problems here in Birmingham. So that's what we've been talking about. And she's raising the money, she said, because of the viral video. It's to help protect her family. So there's that. And again,
What's your thoughts?
on her or this whole situation.
Yeah, with her doing that.
Oh, baby. See, I would have fought her. There would have been no discussion. Yeah, you would have had to raise money because you got beat up. I would have been in jail if you had called my autistic 5-year-old the N-word. Because who are you talking to? But I'm always violence. That's me. I know it's a more probably grown-up way to handle it. I know, Rashad. I know it's more grown-up way, but violence, okay? Because you coming with me for the violence, you must want violence.
Yeah, bust a grape in a fruit fight.
Oh, shut up. Mama said, put a cross in her yard and burn it. She just wants some. She just wants some free money. They used to do it to us back in the day.
We gotta start doing something. We keep letting these folks off the hook. Y'all saw where the police officer killed the little black boy, and his dad ended up killing him.
Yes, I was telling Mama about that. If
I see a GoFundMe for him, I'm definitely supporting that.
Yeah, it was a father whose 18-year-old son had got shot and killed by the police, and he basically ran the officer over. So he got his own justice.
The only issue I have with that, I have a couple issues with that, but the biggest issues I have with that is he didn't kill the officer that his son. He killed the officer.
Yeah, and I didn't like it.
It's crazy. I'm like, now.
Look, I didn't like it, but
frustration though. Don't get me wrong. I understand the father being frustrated, but to say, I'm going to kill anybody, anybody I think that's dangerous.
So it's very dangerous. It's a slippery slope. But at the end of the day, we are the only ones with the moral compass.
Yeah.
We're the only ones with the moral compass. And at the end of the day, look, we are facing opposition that is playing by a different rule book. And so now my mind is a little skewed. It's a little skewed. I'll put it to you like this. If every time a police officer, went viral for taking somebody's life, if somebody went and took a police officer's life, I bet that would stop happening so much. I'm not saying I agree with it.
Because that fact, like you like the good book, don't the good book say an eye for an eye?
Hey, I don't agree with it. However, I know there will be some change that would occur. I know change doesn't happen by marching.
Peacefully. It's interesting though that I don't totally agree, but I like the position that you have. I just think it's interesting that we'll talk about that later. That
No,
you
no.
don't have that position in other areas. But go ahead. Like this, we tired of being a high moral compass. We're tired of promises. We're tired of certain things. I agree with that mentality of like, you know what? Hey, you know what? I ain't got time for none of your empty promises or you. I'm gonna take matters in my own hands, and that's what sounds like what that father did, right?
Look, man. At the end of the day, you never know what you will do until you're in that same situation.
Yeah.
Because if somebody comes after my kid,
Yeah.
and you tell him,
I just said I understand the father. I'm not necessarily acting as if I don't understand why the father did what he did. I totally understand. People are tired and fed up. I get it. I said it's a little dangerous when you killing anybody. You know what I mean? Opposed to the actual, the person who, you know what I mean? Then
I agreed with that. I agreed with it. I wouldn't knock that. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying that hey, here we are.
And Mama said, and I said he should have backed it up and ran his ass over again. Street justice.
There's a different level of anger from women have a whole different level of anger, man. I wouldn't have said none of that.
Baby Barack said nonviolent approaches don't seem to work for us. I don't condone violence, but they do. So by all means, you got to match their energy. I'm tired of the diplomatic approach.
I agree with that. I understand that position.
And the thing that's funny, if y'all remember on the campaign trail trying to get who was that, Hillary into office?
Yeah.
Michelle was like, hey, when they go low, we go high. We was all into moral compass until Trump won. And then we came back and she changed her tone. She was like, y'all remember I said when they go low, we go high. She said, I gotta amend that. She changed it. I don't remember exactly what she said, but at the end of the day, we understand that we will always lose if we are the only one playing by the rules.
We've been playing too long, and look where it has gotten us.
At the bottom, if we're the only one playing by the rules, we will always lose.
Mama said we always got to be the bigger person. Bay said peace, not war. Not in this situation. I'm with the violence. Violence. Neek said they go after random black kids all the time. I'm just so curious though, because not now one of these Karens have ever tried me. Baby.
You gotta remember. Yeah, you're in a predominantly black area. That's why.
I don't know. I mean, we got some YTs out here in the ham, but yeah, I pray that a Karen don't ever try me because I'm going to jail.
When I seen that video, it was like surreal. Like I'm like, it let me know how like in a bubble I live, or like, cause I couldn't imagine that happening.
So let's talk about it.
Imagine a white person said, was it lady white? I'm sorry. Was she?
Yeah, she was. She was.
So she was white.
With blonde hair, blue eyes.
Imagine that happening.
Yeah, but so let's talk about it real quick. So you have all of these black people that love to be like, I want my kids to go to the best schools,
yeah,
and I want the best opportunities and all of this, and they big up all of the predominantly white areas. They speak highly about them, and then they get out there, and this is another thing that I said about about Carmelo Anthony's family. You want to run all the way to the white people until you get in trouble. And now you come all the way to South Dallas to get the Next Generation Action Network to have them to come and represent you. And that's another one of my issues. All of y'all want to be out there. There was another. So we have another area called South Lake out here. There was a principal that got fired because he was at the beach with his white fiance, and people saw him, and he had on a tattoo. He had a sleeve. Right? He had a sleeve. He's on the beach. They saw it. They saw him with the white girl. They complained about his tattoo, and they removed him Because so many parents, because this is what they do. They bond together. Hate, we talk about love is stronger than hate. I don't know.
Ooh.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Mm.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Because that hate is strong.
Hate has always gotten its way. They say love conquers all, but I haven't seen the evidence. I haven't. I see hate winning everything. When Christopher Columbus, came over here, and all the Native Americans were showing him love, he wrote a manifesto that said these people are so loving and stupid. And then hate took over the whole area, and hate is still thriving today.
And the crazy thing is, I'm trying to figure out why they don't like us, because you wasn't the one that was enslaved. Your ancestors wasn't enslaved.
You gotta remember, they don't like us because half of the country, remember, there was a civil war. That's half the country. Half of the country still wanted slaves.
Yeah.
So they lost. They've been upset and angry ever since. And they've been plotting ever since. They've been plotting for generations. They've raised their kids on those stories about that. They tell them about your great-grandpappy that fought in the war with Robert E. Lee and all of these other stuff. They continue. That's why hate, in my opinion, hate is stronger than love, because hate will cause you to continue to perpetuate things, to continue the hate all the way through. And it's just like hate is much more recognized and is much more implemented, and it drives people. I'll put it this way. When you think about how you address people that you love and how you address people that you hate, when you think about both of those different emotions, when you hate somebody, aren't you a little bit more emotional when it comes to that particular person? Everything that they do drives you insane. And it changes your perception about how your day is going. Right. It's like, I can love somebody. My wife can come in here right now, like she did the other day. Come in here, I'm talking to you. She come over here, give me a kiss. I love the shit out of my wife, right? I'm going to give her a kiss. She's going to go back out. I'm going to finish talking. But if a nigga that owes me $2,000 walks in here, I'm finna turn this video off.
We about to get to it. Where my money?
And so everybody's talking about love conquers all, but I don't know if I agree with that.
Or maybe that's what they taught us to keep us in line. Think about that. Yeah, maybe that's what they taught us to keep us in line, so we wouldn't get out of pocket. Mama said, Trey, by any means necessary, power to the people. She said, we had it in our neighborhood. Remember, I went across the street ready for war? Yeah, I remember that. And Mama said that they hate us but want to be like us. We are superior, and that scares them. Baby Brock said, I agree, Rashad. Hate over power, love, and in every aspect. Which one do you see the most of? Enough said, keep your fists balled up and ready to launch. And Neek said, they are afraid of what we might do because of the treatment they gave us.
So what are your thoughts on that one, partner?
Hefe?
I think y'all cooking. I think you're cooking, brother. I think that when I really, I don't want to get too religious, but I think that, like I said, when you're in the flesh, man, hate always gonna. Well, this worldly world, hate is always gonna. It aligns to me with how most people feel. You know what I mean? And about anything and everything. So I agree with you. You know what I mean? I think love in one sense does overcome hate, but not in the world we live in your day to day.
And that's 100%. That is 100%. Yep. The love that the Bible talks about. I don't know if all of that overcoming is for this world. I don't know if that's for this world.
And you got to remember too, they use the Bible as I won't say as a weapon, but they used it to keep us in line. And they had that one nigga that knew how to read and would read the Bible, and they picked the scriptures that they would read so they can keep all the slaves in line. So, but my question is to both of you. How are you teaching your kids, or how are you grooming your kids to combat racism, or what are you teaching them? So if they ever do come in encounter with a racist, what are some things you're telling them what to do, what not to do?
You know, it's crazy. So for me personally, since my daughter was born, I was, you're black, you're black, you're black, you're black. I was like an overemphasis on, you're black, and this and that, and constantly making her understand who she is, and before she even understood. So I mean, and why it mattered, because she didn't understand why it even mattered.
Yeah.
For a very, very even long time. But laying down that foundation, I think, is what I'm doing. So that way, where, like I said, you don't want to talk about, certain racism that hasn't actually happened yet, but you can sprinkle in history, right? Because you don't want to. Sometimes you don't want to tell children too early, because then they may start thinking that their 7-year-old classmates may be racist. So you don't want to. It's like a fine line. So I just sprinkle things here and there, and to a childlike's understanding. But what I do is overly focus on who you are. Like, you are black, you are this, you are that. That way, when those things, and she gets the age of a better understanding, I can start sprinkling more and more and more. You know what I mean? But I don't have this "we are the world" mentality. I think that a lot that has been adopted to me more recently, where it's like, oh, we're all together, and this and that and that and this. I think in certain aspects it would be, it sounds nice, but the reality is, I know when it get down to it, you black. You're gonna be reminded who you are. Shannon Sharp going through that right now.
Woo, baby.
You know,
Ain't he though?
I ain't never say he ain't. I don't think he ever. See, Shannon Sharp is one of the ones to me that are tricky, because we all love him. Or at least I did.
I loved Unc.
Yeah, I love Shannon, but he talked the talk, and I think he do believe what he say, but his lifestyle don't match what he say.
Yeah.
He always loved white women. You know what I mean? So it's one of them things where they reminded him, like, oh yeah, and don't forget, we can take all this from you. From a Caucasian whore. Everything from him. She's a whore, right? She's a working.
She's she does OnlyFans model.
But I'm saying she sold her body for money, right? Wasn't he paying her for sex?
Well, she said, I think one booty cheek costs
$25 per cheek.
Yeah, something like that.
Right. So I mean, even a prostitute could take everything from you. That's crazy.
No. Because if she was black, not trying to put the race in there, but
we was highlighting that because she was white.
Yeah, if she was black, would we even still be? This probably wouldn't even be a top story if it was some black women. But the fact that they are not black women and they YTs, it's a problem. The white men still don't want you with their woman, but you men don't. Some of you, and I just sent Mama a video of I forgot their names, 2 athletes, I think they're basketball players, coming off a party bus. Guess who was in the party bus with them? Party bus full.
Right.
Go ahead.
Okay. No. And this is the hard part, right? We still have not understood that you have to be careful about not having context. Have to be careful about that. Sound bites, 30-second clips, all of this other stuff. That's what we base our decisions on.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I got to do a break. Hold on. The best R&B 98.7 Kiss. Ask and you shall receive. So Clarksdale, Mississippi, they didn't have a movie theater, right? So they said they didn't have a movie theater so they could see Sinners, where the film is based on. So now they have a movie theater, and now they're getting a screening, a special Juneteenth screening. So look at God. Won't he do it? It's 98.7 Kiss, the best R&B. Okay, go ahead, Rashad.
That was phenomenal that they ended up getting a movie theater for that, because the area where they shot the movie, the area that the movie was based upon, couldn't even go see it. So I was very happy when I found out about that. But like I said, we talk about this context. So the actual owner of that transport system was the fat bald guy in the front. Mm-hmm. He was the owner of the bus. what happened, there was a party or like a dinner that they were all a part of at this restaurant. I think it was a restaurant. It was either a restaurant or a club, but they were all in one space. And there was an after party at another location that he was shuttling people to.
Oh, so
And so, yeah, and so they weren't there with all of them white girls.
oh, okay.
They were just all on the same bus. And so I understand how hard it is because you got the, you if all the white girls getting out smiling and fixing their lipstick, and then you got the two black ass niggas getting out the back. Same old stories. But once again, we are so quick to jump to conclusions without having all the facts. And that's what, that's one of the issues that, the Caucasians have about us. Because as a people, sometimes we don't wait for the truth. And then we try to talk to them about lies when they like, well, hell, y'all jump to the same types of conclusions that we do. It's just about different types of topics, which
Right.
is true.
Mama, I saw you.
So
I saw you on Twitch. Mama said, no disrespect. I've seen people fighting in church. Those were church folks. And she said, and he will be with another snow bunny after he pays. I don't know about that because it's 3 of them now. This thing is heating up. It ain't looking good for the boy. Oh, Shay Sharp. I didn't even know that. What's his name had hopped off. Hefe. Hefe.
Oh, he's gone?
Yeah.
Okay.
What up, Shamal?
Yeah.
He said, and some men still going to make it they business to love them. I will never understand why men and women do it. You know the truth, but you think it's not in them. You wild for thinking snakes don't fire. Okay.
What? I have no idea what that meant. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Okay,
Hefe. I don't know. This thing is weird. So I don't know if it's going to because they did not let Rashad back on yesterday. So we going to see. Oh, there you go. Rashad, I don't know why I didn't let you back on because it just let him back on all easy peasy.
LL Cool J. They don't like me.
Oh my goodness. But I'm sorry because we've been all over the place today, but this has been a good conversation. We did start talking about this woman in Minnesota who called the 5-year-old black boy the N-word. Shamel said, don't bite. Shamel, I'm trying to understand exactly what it is you're talking about. I'm going to read this again because maybe I just am not comprehending or maybe I'm just a little slow today. But he said, in some men still going to make it they business to love them. I think he's talking about the situation with Shannon Sharp. I will never understand why men and women do it. You know the truth, but you think it's not in them. You wild for thinking snakes don't bite.
Okay.
I got what you're saying now. Absolutely. 100%. But I don't know. There was another football player. I think he won with the Eagles. He went and they did their little celebration at the White House. He saw Ivanka Trump and was like, that is his type of woman. Baby, you ain't learned nothing from us. You don't see what I'm going through? By all means, put yourself through that. That's all I say. By all means, put yourself through that. I don't know if it's me, though, but I do feel like, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, we are the only race of folks that push for dating outside of our race of people.
Well, and the reason that is because there has been a huge effort to vilify black people when we say that you should not do that. So the reason why we get vilified is because there's interference. Everybody interferes with everything that we do. It doesn't matter. We don't bother the Hispanics. White people don't bother the Hispanics.
Well, now they are.
They don't bother the Chinese. They don't bother the Arabs. They don't bother nobody but us. Mexicans bother us. Chinese people bother us. Everybody bothers us. Everybody. And a lot of our traits and our habits are based upon interference. And that's the one thing that we don't understand. We get so mad at our people, but we don't get mad at the rest of the world because the rest of the world is planting these ideas in our head.
Right.
We didn't come from that. We didn't come from now there back in the day, white women were status. Right? They were status. Like you can get you a white woman and you can be different. I get that. Right? But at the end of the day, that was viewed by the other side once the transition happened and you couldn't openly oppress people anymore. Then they started pushing this big narrative: love who you love. Love, they don't say that to nobody else.
But us.
Don't say it to nobody else.
Who
I
is
ain't.
they?
Who are they? Everybody.
Who is they? Who is
So,
everybody?
I've been having this conversation with a lot of different people, a lot of different races, a lot of different everything. And if you go and if you look under the comments of certain topics such as this, you will see a diverse group of everybody spewing that information out. But I've never seen that on a topic that is not about someone that is black. I've never seen it under, if a Hispanic is with a Chinese person, that's not even highlighted. I know what happened.
What do you think of? What is your opinion of those type of people? Meaning, like, the ones that are able to do that, who are able to marry. Like, when I see black women marrying white men, or when I see black men marrying white women, what do you think their mentality is? Like, how that is even something they'll be able to do.
So let's be honest. I think the majority of the time there is trauma associated with that. Okay. Hold on real quick.
You ain't gonna be able to get back on, Rashad. Yeah, if he ain't gonna be able to get back on. Mama said they love black men until they don't love them anymore. They will pay for being with them. But it's crazy, Hefe, because they're not just dating any certain type of black men, okay? They know exactly what they're doing. And it ain't no knock, I'm just an advocate of, keeping it in-house.
What I will say is, I think they know how to play the game better than our women, unfortunately.
Than black women?
They know how to play the game better. I think they don't have good intentions, don't get me wrong. I think that they're able to trick our men a lot easier because of their approach, opposed to some of our stereotypical women approach.
Yeah. I don't know, because again, I'm a woman, and I'm not a YT woman. I don't know. It could be that. I've heard Paul Pierce say, the reason why athletes date white women is because they listen more. They apologize more. They're more submissive. But yeah, they're going to be submissive until you get a divorce from their ass, and then they coming for that whole check and everything you got.
But I agree that that's all women, though. I mean, that's
thank you. Because
No. I'm saying that they I think.
Oh no, you agree with what Paul Pierce said.
You're right, and I was saying that I believe in the end, I was saying that the white women are going to take you for everything, and I believe that the black women are too. They, like in divorce, women in general they going to mostly get as much as they can, no matter the race. I don't think that's specific to white women. I think that's all women.
Yeah, I think all women are created equal. That's what I was getting ready. Yeah, all women are created equally. It ain't a white thing. It ain't a black thing. It ain't a Mexican. It ain't. All women are the same. Mama said trailer trash love black men too. Yeah, but let me tell you something about these YT women. Because if they gonna risk their inheritance, they gonna risk that trust fund. They is not dating and no disrespect, not calling nobody a brokey, but they not dating an average black man. They're not doing that. If they gonna risk it all, the family money, and they're going to date somebody like an athlete, a professional. So when they lose, they know, okay, at least I'm gonna be taken care of. Okay, daddy might cut me off, but at least I know this black man over here, if I need to take his ass to the cleaner, I'm gonna be straight.
Agreed.
I'm just saying. Neek said, we have an identity crisis. They know how to make you think they are easier because there is a motive behind it. Absolutely. And but YT women enter these marriages with a motive. They have connection and a plan. So, hold on, y'all. I apologize. Hold on. I
do know
it's the best R&B. It's 98.7 Kiss. Sorry, Efe, what you were saying?
My bad.
No,
I do find it interesting that a lot of these white women when if they divorce these black men, prominent or financial high money making black men, that I do notice that all of them usually, if they do get remarried, they always end up remarrying a white person.
Yeah, they've been
I
there.
do find that interesting.
They've been there. They've done that.
Get money, and then they go back home.
Yeah, like, got him. Got him. But, you know, I don't want to say to each his own and date who. I don't want to say that because I ain't going to say that. You know, like I said, I'm a firm believer. You know, I don't hear other races saying, hey, go. My brown brothers and sisters, what they do? They stick together, okay? You know, white women, they're now, you know, dating black men, but normal, them white men, they stay within, you know, their parameters. So, I'm gonna see if this lets Rashad back in. Rashad, you shouldn't have got Rashad. I don't know why I have. Oh, there you go. What? What? It let him back in today, Hefe.
No, I always have to log out.
Oh, let's do some final thoughts because I need to wrap this up. So, final thoughts on today's conversation. Mama said I agree. They got the money. So, and we were talking.
Mama thought that you need to go to 2:00.
I can't do another 30 minutes. I gotta go, and I don't think IG is gonna let me do another 30 minutes because
they're not kicking folks off no more.
No.
Everything, if you haven't noticed, things have been changing since this new administration.
I didn't know that. I didn't know they wasn't kicking. Yeah, I can't stay though because I gotta focus on my show. But let's do some final thoughts. Rashada had asked Hefe a question. What are you doing to teach your children about racism and how to combat it?
So, and that's a hard one. That's really hard. He had a completely valid point. You don't want to raise your child up hating the world, right? So you got to be careful about that. And when I was ready to begin, I started teaching my kids about Black pride. But you also got to remember they're kids and they're processing stuff. And so, man, they came back and the after school care told me that my son said he hated Mexican people.
Oh, boy.
I was like, God damn. I was like, that is not what I said. But see, and that's why you got to be careful.
Oh, my.
You got to be careful about going all in. Because they interpret things differently, right? And they don't know how to completely express themselves yet. So with the limited scope of what their understanding is, it's going to come out in a way that may be misconstrued. You know, and so how? The key is to remind them that the world is not fair. That's where I started. I'm reminding them, no, you're not going to be able to have everything that you want. You're not even going to be able to do everything that you want inside the house. Because when you get outside of a house, the world is going to treat you in a way that some people will like you and some people won't.
Yeah.
And you can't control who likes you and who doesn't. And so that's where I kind of started it. You know, and I'm telling them the truth about what's going on. And I told them about, you know, Trump. And they hate him. And it's all I did was give them facts. You know, and so they come to their own conclusion. And I'm not going to, they're accurate. So I'm not going to stop that. And if they speak on it and, you know, somebody comes back to me and talks to me about it, then we'll have other conversations. But it's just... You got to start with reminding them of the pride that they should have in who they are. Yeah. And building them up, you know, foundationally so that nobody else can knock them down if they come and call them nappy-headed and all this other stuff. Those are the things that you got to prepare them for. And then once their foundation is solid, then you go to them and you explain them why you had to build their foundation up. I had to build you up because you're going to face people out there that are not going to like you, and they're not going to like you just because of how you look.
Right.
You know, and I got to be honest, 10, 8, and 7.
Whew.
I'm still trying to figure out how to get into the conversation because I got 2 boys.
Yeah.
About police.
Yeah. Ooh. We might.
Every time they talk to them, they're all excited. And I'm just in the back like, man.
We might need to do like a plat and have a real conversation about that. That's a good topic. Mr. Austin said, final thoughts. The new world order is already here. Stock up while you can. Mama said, how many white people teach their kids to hate us? Neek said the difference. Go ahead.
No, that was the question that he had. How many white people
That was
teach
Mama.
their kids to hate us?
Yeah.
A whole lot.
Yeah. From birth.
And go ahead.
Neek said the difference is because y'all black men create soft lives for YT women. Meanwhile, we have to be your ride or die and go through hell to prove we are worthy of
Don't
that
do
soft
that.
life.
Don't do that. Don't do that. I don't want to hear that.
Say it with your chest, Nate.
That's trauma. Nope, I don't want to hear that.
Baby Brock said final thoughts. Much respect to the strong brothers in our dysfunctional crew. We may continue to grow and become the change we need. Stay up. And Dee Dee, stay up and keep pushing. Appreciate y'all. All right, tomorrow's hump day. So we're halfway through this work week. We're cooking. And we'll do it again. F.A., I appreciate you coming on. Rashad, as always. I might do something different tomorrow. Because this has been a question that has been floating around in my circle. Who is the prize? I feel like we talked about this one before. F.A., I know you're gonna want to talk about this tomorrow, F.A. Who is really the prize? Men or women?
Well, y'all gotta have that without me.
Yeah. So, F.A., you're welcome to join tomorrow. All right. I love y'all for y'all. We'll do it again tomorrow. Bye.
All right, y'all have a good one.
Amen to that. Appreciate y'all, everybody. Mr. Awesome, babe. Mama, appreciate y'all. See y'all.